Hey everybody, don't forget to check out MyBookie Sportsbook and Casino, America's most trusted sportsbook in 2019. You can look at betting lines and place bets in bare knuckle and MMA. Don't forget to use our referral code down below for a 50% sign up bonus. That's MyBookie Sportsbook and Casino.
I found out about the fight probably a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and
Okay.
I finally got a named opponent. I knew I was going to be on 9 since 7 didn't happen. I knew that the first opportunity came back to Biloxi, the first opportunity that they had in Tampa. I was trying to get on that card too.
Yeah.
So I've honestly never quit training since the BKFC 7 debacle with the weight issue. So I've stayed in camp. I feel better than ever right now. I actually watched Tom Shoaff's interview a little while back whenever he was training for I think it was his rematch with Diego,
Okay.
um, and said that he got into weight training and stuff. And I'd actually just started doing the same thing. So I've actually altered my program and went from just training boxing and footwork and old school to I've incorporated the weights and stuff, but I kind of dialed it back from lifting heavy to doing more speed and lightweight, high rep stuff. So I feel like I have my power back now, and I feel like I'm a lot quicker and a lot more precise too. So I feel excited for the fight. I know that Kenny Lacia, he doesn't have too much boxing experience, but he does have a heavy right hand. I've seen him land at least 2 solid KOs with just a wild overhand right. It's kind of unorthodox. He was a pitcher in college, so he kind of throws it like he's a pitcher. So,
Hmm.
I mean, it's quick, but he kind of winds it up a little bit. So just got to watch out for that joker, and I think I'll be all right.
That's an interesting. I never thought about that, like a baseball pitcher getting into like boxing or any type of striking. That's an interesting crossover. I guess it does kind of translate, right? All that.
I'm pretty sure that's where Schumacher claims he gets his power from. Is he was a pitcher when he was in high school, and I don't know if he went to college, but pretty sure he was a pitcher when he was younger as well.
Hmm.
Heck
Yeah,
yeah.
something to think about.
Interesting. I guess it's something
Yeah.
about that, right? Because I guess when you're pitching, it's the like those fast twitch muscle fibers, right? Because
Right.
I guess that same kind of I don't know, man. I don't know what the hell I'm talking
I
about.
mean, you're
But
driving off the back foot. You're winding forward. I mean, the mechanics are very similar to throwing a punch as they would be
yeah,
for pitching off of a pitcher's mound. You wedge your foot into that pitcher's mound. You drive off the back foot just like you do with a cross. Your body torques. Like the mechanics are very similar. So if you've got a really fast pitch, chances are you probably going to have a fairly powerful punch just because your mechanics are similar. That makes sense to me.
Right.
interesting,
I agree.
interesting. Well, I mean, you kind of touched on it, but I was going to ask about about your opponent, Kenny. He's coming, like you said, from like a more of an MMA esque background. Um, I, I mean, what do you think, man? And I won't ask you to give him tips because that's sharing with the enemy. But I mean, what do you think, man? What do you think about how do people do, man? Like their bare knuckle debuts. Like, what was the biggest thing for you coming into bare knuckle?
Man, I'm a really mental fighter. I never fought growing up. I was a nerd. I kept to myself. I was real quiet. So I just got into fighting after I graduated high school because I was always in sports, just kind of keep me busy. Wasn't really good at anything, but I was mediocre and got to play, and kept me off the streets. And I never had many friends because I was a nerd. So I just stayed busy playing sports. So I got into MMA, started training, and liked it, and decided I wanted to compete. 8 months later, and got knocked out in front of 4,000 people. Then I fell in love with it because just the adrenaline rush of being prepared for a fight that I'd never been in my life, and did it in front of 4,000 people, and the Coliseum at that, where we're fighting in 2 weeks. So I was nervous, and I feed off that nervous energy, and I think that anytime you go into a new sport, you're going to have more of that new nervous energy, especially bare knuckles. People freak out when they hear that you don't have gloves on. They worry about breaking their hands. They worry about cuts. They worry about all these different things. And then to throw in the fact that you're starting 3 feet in front of each other, I think that has a big mental gap on a lot of people because they usually you build yourself up. I did, at least when I was coming into MMA. I'd always, we came to the center, we had a little meeting with the ref, the ref, and he gave us a little spill about abide my rules, whatever. I'll go back and always punch the top of the ring just to kind of throw my nervous jitters. All right, here we go. That was always my ritual. Now we're starting 3 feet in front of each other. So when I walked off the cage and started coming in, I was always getting myself prepared, you know, having that couple seconds before we actually engaged in battle. Now we're right in front of each other. So you don't have that time. So I think that that's going to affect a lot of people that are coming off MMA or boxing that haven't just started right in front of each other throwing. And so I think that just the mental aspects of it are going to affect them. I don't think that the bare knuckle itself is going to really affect them. Because it didn't, coming from MMA, the change of having 4-ounce gloves to nothing to a little bit of wrap is not gonna, didn't make that big of a difference. So punching feels different, mainly receiving, because there's been a couple times when I was fighting Caleb Harris, he hit me right in the eye and my eye went completely black, and I just had to kind of play it off like I could see, and I was throwing blank jabs because I couldn't see what I was throwing at, but I was just trying to keep him at bay until I got my eyesight back. But just because his knuckles having to go right in my eye socket, I couldn't see. So that kind of freaked me out for a minute. You just have to keep your composure and roll with the punches. So
fighting in your hometown, is it does it make you more comfortable, or does it kind of add a little bit of pressure because you're fighting in front of friends and family?
It adds more pressure, but I'm the idiot that likes thriving under pressure. I like putting the scrutiny on myself. I like having that extra weight on my shoulders. I feel like I perform the best when I'm under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Like you have some guys that perform the best in the gym because that's where they're comfortable. That's where they perform. And some guys, and then when they get in the ring, they don't perform to the absolute best, but they perform well, but just not as their top game that they do in the gym. Then you have guys like me that I perform decent in the gym, but then when I get in the ring, I just have that added pressure. And I feel like I perform better.
Sorry, man. There was like a glitch. Sorry about that. It was like a weird glitch.
No,
No, man. I tell you what, man. How do you think? You made your debut at BKFC 2. Am I right? Yeah, BKFC 2. I had to search through the memory banks. It's not so good. It's not as good as it used to be. How have you seen, man? How have you seen the company and the sport grow just since then? Because that's just a little over a year ago, 13, 14 months ago. I mean. How have you seen it grow from your eyeballs, and where do you see it going in the future?
Man, it's grown like a snowball rolling downhill, man. It just picked up momentum and just kept growing and growing. When I first got into it, I was the only guy from Mississippi to be on the card. Now you got UFC vets, Jason Knight, UFC vet Chase Sherman. You got other guys from down here getting on the cards, and other guys that already had their names made with other organizations, and then you have other big sign-ins coming in from other organizations, I mean, they're talking about signing Vandalay. I don't know if he ever signed a fight or not, but I mean, just names like that, just your old school draws that are just going to bring more attention to the sport and get people just to get that one first show. If they can just get one show under the belt that they actually get to see, they'll be hooked. I mean, because it's action-packed fights. So I think that's just going to keep continuing to grow momentum. And as the more states allow it and their organizations, I mean, I don't see why this can't take off in the next 5 years, be much higher than any boxing around.
I know Dave Feldman was talking about like Alabama, Kansas. I mean, he was talking about several other states that they're trying to go to next year.
I've been talking to some commissioners here in Indiana, and they're trying to pull it in too. Yeah, it's trying to go places.
Yeah, I'm pumped, man. He's talking about 12 to 15 shows next year, if not more. He's saying at least 12 to 15. I'm so excited, man. I'm excited to see this sport grow. I'm excited for the company. Just in general, man. Like all you guys are fucking. I tell you, I've got so much respect for all you fucking guys. I mean, I really do. I really do. I can't speak. I can't talk enough about it. I really can't. How's it going down, man? You tell me. How's it going down against Kenny?
Man, I don't want to give out too much, but I'm going to say this. I saw he struggled a little bit with southpaw, and I've always played with southpaw. Me and Jason Knight, that's something we used to always do to kind of mess with each other. Because me and Jason Knight have been sparring for better part of 10 years, So I knew Jason since he was a kid when he was actually the kid. And so, I mean, one of the things he used to do to mess with people was turn southpaw, and people just didn't know how to handle it because we didn't have too many southpaw fighters in our gym. And so I'd always trade with him, and I'd go southpaw, and I'd figure out how to use it. So I've been using a little bit more this camp because I saw that he struggled with southpaw. So I might throw that in the mix. I don't know, but I think it's going to be within 3 rounds. I'll say it that way, one or the other. I might go out. I'm not going to say I'm going to knock him out, whatever. I say that it's going to be an action-packed fight, and within those first 3 rounds, something's going to happen.
I like it, man. I fucking like it. Well, since I guess you're a good guy to ask about it, we were asking just kind of everybody about it. Is your thoughts on the Jason Artem Knight fight? I mean, since you're so close to Jason, what do you think, man? How do you see it going down? You think I'm kind of reluctant. I don't know if it goes down the same way. I think it's going to be. I think maybe both guys. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a little different. I think maybe they might kind of be going for a quick finish. I don't think it's going to go the whole 5 rounds. I just had that feeling. I don't know who. I don't know who. I can't put my finger on who, but I just don't think it's going to be the same dogfight it was.
I think it's going to be the same dogfight. I just don't know if it's going to be as long of that dogfight because I know Jason personally has been working on some holes in his game and picking up holes in Artem's game, which I know Artem's doing the same thing but reversed. So I think that they're still going to want the dogfight because that's what Jason is. Jason loves that mentality. I mean, Jason always in the gym, he wants somebody to trade with him. He bullies people into getting in that mentality of just wanting to stand and trade. And he's now gotten in that mentality of standing and trading, but now he's also working his angles. So I think that's worked heavily in his favor. And I think that his chin has proved to be tested with Artem's best shots. And I think Artem's tested against Jason's, but I think that at the end of that fight, Artem looked a little bit more out of it than Jason did. So I think if Jason can up his strength a little bit, I think that fight ends a little bit earlier. And I think it goes in Jason's favor.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think if that Paulie Malignaggi fight was any sort of evidence as to where Artem's talent has gone since the Jason Knight fight, and knowing how hungry Jason is, if Artem comes in with the same performance that he had against Paulie, Jason's going to eat him up. Like quick. I feel the same way. I feel like Jason's really hungry for this fight and he really wants his redemption. And if the Paulie fight was any tell towards Artem's performance, it's going to be Jason's night all the way.
100%.
I think Knight feels like he got robbed of that last one. So I think that added into this. And then Jason's doing something I've never seen him do in the 10 plus years I've known him, and that's strength and conditioning. So, I mean, he's actually going into doing stuff to help his performance all the way around. And he knows he needs a little bit more power in his punches to put Artem away. So I think he's going to make it happen.
Oh, good to hear. Good for him.
100%. I'm just pumped for the fight, man. I'm pumped for the fight. I'm pumped for your fight, brother. So we can't wait. BKFC number 9. I can't believe I'm saying 9. BKFC number 9 in Biloxi, November 16th on pay-per-view and Fight TV. Mr. Harris,
yes,
Sandman Stephenson, we appreciate your time so much, sir. Thank you so much.
I appreciate y'all having me.
Hey, brother, anytime. Good luck to you, man, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you soon.
Absolutely, man. Y'all have a good one. Good seeing you guys. Good seeing you, Tom.
Be safe, man.